are live.
Welcome back to the only podcast that is endorsed by both AOC and Donald Trump.
Yes, yeah.
As seen by our tweet there.
Yeah. I mean, who would have thought? I never would have thought that we get over 100 subscribers and we all of a sudden have the attention of Donald Trump.
Yeah, we're still waiting for that AOC shout out, but she's reached out to us and expressed her interest.
She expressed interest in the AOC bump, giving it to us, and we really find the squad, hashtag the squad, to be a very useful wing of the Democratic Party, and
they're really good, actually.
Yeah,
they're pretty cool.
What do you think? What's good about them?
For women,
which is very important.
Very diverse.
Yes.
For women of a lot of color.
Right.
They're all of color, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay. Good. So be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's. What else is good about them? Like, I don't know. They're pretty outspoken.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not very outspoken myself, so I kind of admire that about them.
Why don't you adopt a new persona and just end up being a little bit more...
Actually, I think I should. And that's why I'm going to wear something like the French women wear in Paris. Where they tie a little thing around their neck, like a little velvet loop around their neck. Do I look cute?
You look cute.
Thank you.
I have a booger. I can see
You better
it.
get it. Hi, Maya. Hello. So we are celebrating our second anniversary tonight.
Yep.
And what are we doing? Or what have we done?
We went to an infrared sauna, so now we're very relaxed. Maybe even too relaxed to be doing this. And I think that Maya knows that Sean made me this shirt.
I did make that shirt. I'm very proud of it. I think he looks very handsome and like a total snack. And I'm very, very happy you're wearing it for the episode today so I can talk about it for 25 minutes.
Yes.
Actually, the whole podcast, I'll be talking about that.
This is our 2-year anniversary, which is 65 years in gay years.
It is. It really is. And how long would that be for lesbian years?
That would be 7 minutes. Yeah, because it's that whole thing of...
Well, they move in like instantly. 2 seconds.
Yeah, and then they hate each other, and they have the highest domestic abuse.
Gay people don't even like look at each other more than once.
Do you know that lesbians have the highest domestic abuse rates?
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not a nice statistic.
I see this thing in my nose, and it's gonna bug the shit out of me. You see it?
What, in your nose? I think it might just be dry. I think you just have a little dry spot.
Here, talk to them for a second. I gotta fix this.
Yeah. So I made that shirt for Jordan. I will actually talk about it for a couple minutes. I made that shirt for Jordan, and I just gave it to him today. He looks so freaking handsome. He's such a snack. So I used a sewing pattern from Vogue, and it was just perfect. It fit him absolutely perfectly, except for like the chest because he's a beefy boy. So I added like an inch, an inch to the front there. And I think he looks so good on the shirt. So like shirts have collars. Underneath it, there's like a layer here that buttons it down. It's like its own piece, and I'm so very proud of it. I have a feeling he's really digging around in that nose. But yeah, so I decided since Jordan's wearing something kind of fancy today, I'm gonna wear a little tassel today around my neck. Might take it off if it starts to get itchy. How you doing? Okay, you're back. Yes. That took longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, it was being stubborn.
Oh, okay. Did you get it though? It was like
I did.
It was an actual thing in there.
Yeah, it was dried booger.
Oh God.
Which isn't really great on what French women wear burqas. Yeah, there's quite a bit of that in France for sure. So since and it's nice to have you back, Nia Noni. I think a lot of it was actually interesting for like the one of like the probably most reportery straight podcast we did. A lot of you weren't here for it, which was the Jeffrey Epstein one.
Oh right, yeah.
Which there's been updates on that since we did it last.
Yeah. Do you want to go over those?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the first one that kind of came up was that there's ties to him with Israel's ex-prime minister.
Yep, and Saudi Arabia.
And Saudi. Well, he had an expired Saudi Arabian passport with a different name on it.
Different name, different residency.
But his photo, but with a residence in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting, of just kind of how deep this thing's going to go.
I'm really excited to find out and to see all the heads roll.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I'm going to be like Marie Antoinette. I mean, I look like her right now.
You do.
And I'm just going to let everybody get their heads chopped off.
I think it's
until finally mine gets chopped off.
I think what's so fun about this Jeffrey Epstein thing is that it should be one of those things that unifies both sides on just how fucking horseshit and ridiculous. Like having basically it should be evidence that there are powers at work that are much larger than this political theater of these two sides that want to win, and they're all dirty and they're all bad people. And this country is essentially an oligarchy run by billionaires
billionaire pedophiles.
Well, I mean, apparently, yeah. I mean, considering the people, like, you have we talked about this in the last one, but the people who are obviously implicated in this whole thing because they rode on the plane many, many, many times, Bill Clinton being the more prominent example, and then Alan Dershowitz as well. And again, like, they keep trying to tie this to Trump, but it just, other than him hiring Alexander Acosta, it just doesn't. Who resigned? That's also another development.
Did you see that video of Trump at that party with Epstein?
I did. It meant nothing to me.
Yeah. Okay.
It was, again, I mean, well, what did you think about it?
I don't know. I thought it was just like him talking in a way that straight dudes talk to each other.
It was, and it was clearly like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of like, the thing is like if you weren't really super involved with him between 2004 to 2008, it seems like that's kind of the window of like when this kind of escalated.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like, even if it was before that, it's obviously odd too. But if you weren't taking rides on the plane and going to Little St. James Island, then
he calls it Little St. Jeff.
It
makes me want to throw up.
Yeah,
dude.
he is such a disgusting human. But I think he's just the tip of the iceberg.
But luckily, we've seen like a lot of. I mean, we saw that drone footage of the island.
Yeah.
Insane.
It's insane.
Looking inside the temple that's built on that cliffside.
Right, and the giant like sundial thing.
So weird.
It's so weird. Like it's clearly like, again, it so leans into the idea that this is linked to some kind of occult activity as well.
It's a cult.
And there's even deeper conspiracy theory. So again, entering the conspiracy zone, that the temple has an elevator in it that goes.
Oh, that goes underneath.
Underneath.
But the theory is that it's not an elevator; that it's stairs, because an elevator requires yearly maintenance.
Oh, good point.
And that would invade his privacy of fucking children.
Right.
So stairs are much easier to have secret because nobody has to inspect them.
Right. Oh, well, yeah, that's actually It's a pretty good thought on it.
Yeah.
So that kind of, again, so in the framework of this idea of latching yourself onto any partisan side at this point is pretty fucking stupid, and basically just embrace the chaos, which has been fun to watch, is us arguing fervently about whether or not something is racist. So I wanted to pull up I wanted to pull up the definition of the word racist and have Sean read it here.
All right, definition of racism. I believe that race is the primary determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race.
You can keep going.
Okay, 2A, a doctrine or political program based on the assumption of racism and designed to execute its principles. Or 2B, a political or social system founded on racism. 3, racial prejudice or discrimination.
So that's pretty clear, right? It's basically like the advancement of one race over another, and obviously that they love to paint it as this is only white people that do this, but it's all races. It's all races is thinking that it's like the black Hebrew Israelites saying that because they believe that they were descended, whatever horseshit they believe, they're above everybody else that isn't black, and and really it just gets into like any of these identitarian movements are so obvious in terms of they're just racist. I mean, like, by that definition of it, which is the one that we have. What's been so interesting to watch is now the term has been mutated into, if you're not doing what I want you to do, I will weaponize this term to take you down. But now that has rendered the term completely and utterly useless. So even if things... So what I sent you a text on what we're going to get into is this whole thing with Donald Trump talking about, or sent out that tweet, and we probably should read it actually.
Yeah, pull it up, dude. I mean, he had a tweet thread. It was, I don't even remember what he said exactly, but it's not far down. Oh, maybe it is because he tweets every fucking second, dude. So annoying. All right. There's a little bit more.
This is it.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, so Trump says, in America, if you hate our country, you are free to leave. The simple fact of the matter is the 4 congresswomen think that America is wicked in its origins. They think that America is even more wicked now, that we are all racist and evil. They are entitled to their opinion, They're Americans. Now I'm entitled to my opinion, and I just think they're left-wing cranks. They're the reason there are directions on a shampoo bottle, and we should ignore them. The squad has moved the Democrat Party substantially left, and they are destroying the Democrat Party. I'm appalled that so many of our presidential candidates are falling all over themselves to try to agree with the 4 horsewomen of the apocalypse. I'm entitled to say that they're whack jobs. Louisiana Senator John Kennedy.
So what do you think about that?
Well, he has such a way with words, Jordan.
He does, yeah.
I think him saying the shampoo bottle thing, ableist.
Yeah. Because not everybody can read.
Not everybody can read. Not everybody has able arms to be able to shampoo their hair. Or not everybody understands what shampoo is. No, I think his whole thing is like, I don't expect him to tweet anything else. Like, of course he would go on a rant about this exact thing.
Right. Well, I mean, I said it to you off mic, but I mean, again, so, you know, it's the fucking, you know, his massive fan group always says the thing of like 4D chess or whatever, which is ridiculous most of the time. But there are times like this where I wonder, like, whether or not so what he's now effectively done, and like through subsequent things. So like, he sends out that tweet. Everyone has to say it's racist because that's what they're supposed to do.
Right.
In order, like, because now by calling things racist, you are a good person despite what you may or may not have done in your life. And so he's now, so then he had this event right after it where it was like a Made in America conference. So obviously everybody in the crowd is going to be for him.
Of course.
So the people for him with reporters around him. And so what he kept saying when people would bring up this tweet about whether or not it's racist, he would just say, if you don't like this country, if you hate this country, you can get out. Like, you're allowed to leave, which I know is kind of a meme, but it does, with Cortez in particular, it does start to get a little bit ponderous. It's just kind of like, all right, lady, like, I understand your frustration with things that you feel aren't going right, but give me some solutions on how to fix them that are clear. And it's the thing I was saying to you before the podcast too, of stop telling me how I need to feel about things. And this kind of goes in the same vein of it, of just like everyone on the left is just telling you how bad you should feel, and that seems to be in substitute of any kind of solution to what's going on.
Yeah. Well, in calling this tweet racist, you're totally sucking out the meaning of what racism is.
I don't even know what
the more you
as the title of this podcast, I don't know what racism means anymore.
The more you use the term racist, the less it means. Because you're applying it to really everything.
Right. It means nothing anymore. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Like, because based on that definition, which is like advancing one group over the other because you think that your racial identity is better or more important than the other one, is clearly racist.
Yeah.
But nothing about that tweet, or like, you know, the ill-informed thing of, you know, because the only one that is foreign-born is Ilhan Omar. But I think that was even the point too. Like, I think his point was to actually get. It's so tough too because like there are things that they should be paying attention to, or things they should be talking about. So I'll give you an example. Like, nobody knows this, but so Ilhan Omar is from Somalia.
People know that.
Right, but they don't know that we are still like actively militarily over in Somalia fucking around. And so it's like, whether or not this is true, she could take the angle of like, which I think is the smart one, which is Tulsi Gabbard's angle of like, foreign intervention is causing refugees from other places. Stop fucking around in these other countries. Give them a chance to become not shitholes, right? But she doesn't. She just leans into racism as if throwing that term around with somebody who has been called racist before he even fucking got into office and I've seen personally no evidence of it. It's like in the sense of like, I don't really think that it would matter to him if our southern border was white Russians. Like I don't like, not the drink obviously, but I don't really think that it would. I don't think the ethnicity of the people matter. But there is like an important fact that I wanted to bring up, just like kind of to play a little bit of devil's advocate on what's going on the border.
You sound like a straight white boy in my philosophy class at Bennington.
Oh yeah.
Not to play devil's advocate and then to say like a totally fucking absurd.
I didn't say that. I said that to play devil's advocate, so I'm willing to do it, even though it's not really necessarily how I think.
Why does every like little white boy do that in philosophy classes?
You're very much leaning. You're very much acting like the squad right now. What are you doing?
I don't mean to. I'm just saying, like, It's always the...
Excuse me, honey. That's not the tea. That's not a good look.
We don't need more white faces not being white voices.
Yeah,
and white voice means devil's advocate.
And that's actually that brings me up to like another really funny thing, which was like I forgot her first name, but Presley. She's like one of the four. She's a black woman. She got up. She had some speech that she gave around the same time period that said, she starts it off with like, if you're a black person in politics and you're not a black voice for whatever, then
we don't need you.
We don't need you. And then she said that if you're a queer,
yeah,
and you're not using your voice as a queer voice, and then I was like, all right, excuse me.
You can't call us that.
Yeah, number one, you don't get to do that. Number two, imagine if I had flipped it. Well, like, if you're a black,
right,
and
that's
you don't have
weird,
and it's just kind of like, so like, why is she allowed to, you know, and that's kind of what's ultimately going to be their downfall, is that, their messaging is just so, it's such a mess. Like, who are you convincing with this? And so we'll get into some articles here shortly, but there is something that I did want to say of like how this is just all such a fucking illusion. And I think that the reason why Trump is successful at this is because he knows how to play media. He's been a media figure pretty much his whole career. Like his real estate tycoon and whatever else. Ultimately, what this guy wanted to be was a star on TV. And now he's become the biggest one ever, who happens to be the president, which is very interesting.
Yeah, he's the biggest star.
And what's so funny about it, though, is I was talking about how Twitter is ruining everything. And so basically what it was I looked at a tweet from Patton Oswalt. And Patton Oswalt is a comedian. If you guys don't know, he has like 4.5 million followers on Twitter. So he put out one of the fucking most Siberian takes that I've ever seen.
Ice cold, dude.
Which is that
Sub-Zero.
Which is the picture of the ICE detention center, or rather like where they're just holding the people trying to figure out what to do with them, and then put it side to side with a Nazi concentration. Well, it wasn't even a concentration camp. It's like the picture's actually funny, the one they were using, because it wasn't not funny, but it's.
Yeah, I had to give you a little look there, Jordan.
I found it
hilarious.
But the picture actually wasn't of Jewish people. It was of Russian POWs, which is, again, just showing how fucking little they know and not really caring about details. But so they compose those two pictures together, make the modern one black and white to make it be like, oh my God, this is like a concentration camp. Which, again, is so... They're so that should prove to you that they are so desperate. If they're basically anybody who is comparing someone to Hitler, number one, doesn't know what the Holodomor is, doesn't know about the Great Leap Forward, doesn't know about any mass atrocity other than the Holocaust, and so it's the only one they have to reach towards in order to, kind of, I don't know, I guess get a reaction. But that's kind of all Twitter is, right? It's like these kind of Siberian takes that get you validation. But my point of that is, so Patton Oswalt has 4.5 million followers, and that fucking Siberian take of a picture gets 20,000 likes. And so you have to think, okay, so that means that over 4 million of his audience didn't engage with that tweet,
right?
Because I think it's a stupid take, and because he's a celebrity and likes that tweet, other celebrities would like it as well, and then that means that is cross-platform. You got 20,000 likes on that take. And like very similar to some of the cold, shitty takes that Candace Owens does, it's a similar level of engagement. But the way the media runs, that's enough engagement for them to say that this is a fucking headline, and they keep going with the concentration camp narrative, which, as somebody who thinks about these kinds of things, is clearly you are desperately searching for an angle that doesn't really exist here. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think that using Twitter as a representative for what's actually happening in the world is a terrible one, but it seems to be what drives the squad. Like, the squad is driven... I think that Trump understands what Twitter is and what the engagement is. And honestly, too, like, he tweets anything, and every single news network talks about it ad nauseum. Like, to the point to where, like, if he wanted to do some really nefarious, horrible shit, which he probably is doing, he could do it and just fucking tweet something that they would... like, they'll totally view this as racist, and he'll send it out, and then that's all they'll talk about while he can go like on a bombing campaign in Yemen, and no one would fucking care or talk about it.
There's something to distract.
Or Jeffrey Epstein, which
yeah. I don't want to be on record saying that like these aren't really terrible camps. They are. They're horrific. If you guys have seen any of the videos, I don't know where you stand on that because we haven't really talked about it.
Yeah, I'm willing to talk about it.
But like some of those videos are just.
What about them?
I mean, like seeing those people behind a fence.
Why?
There's something very inhumane about it.
I mean, I've been to jail. Like, that's exactly what it's like.
I mean, are you that crowded? Are you butting?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are you dick to dick with other dudes?
Yeah. Especially if you're, like, in a metropolitan city. And you, like, I was fortunate in, like, getting kind of put into a private cell. But, like, if you're, like, in general population, like, especially in the jail that I was at, it would have been dick to dick with, like, fucking crazy people. And so, like, and then really the reason why they're so congested like this is because they keep trying to get funding bills to, like, get more beds, get more space, to process these quote-unquote asylum claims, which we'll get into. And it's just not really... and the squad rejected any of the funding because it gave funding to ICE. And so they're like, okay, so ICE can't exist. But you know, I was texting my dad about this because he feels very similarly to it that I do. And okay, I don't like the child separation thing. I don't. But again, this isn't like... People want to place this squarely on Trump's shoulders, but this is 40 fucking years of failed policy. Yeah. And again, it's like another Siberian take, which is we're a nation of immigrants. It's like, yeah, dude, we were allowed off the boat at Ellis Island because we had no fucking welfare programs. So I want all the shit Bernie Sanders wants, which is, you know, Medicare for all. Like, I would love a future in which these things could exist, but you cannot have an open border and also have these social programs. It does not work. And I've not met any of my friends that are super leftist that can come up with a solution on this. And again, it's like, to like the AOC crew, stop telling me how bad it is. Give me your fucking solution on how to fix it.
Yeah. They're the people in charge who
and
need
I'm willing
to
to
fix
listen.
It. Yeah.
Like, and again, too, it's like she could take the Tulsi Gabbard route of like, we have fucked around. Okay, like, in fact, let me pull up an article really quickly. So hang on one second. Let me grab.
But it really is like the people.
So a lot of the migrants are coming from Honduras. So I wanted to bring up this article here.
Yeah. Okay. So the title, and it's a what kind of? Where is this from?
It's a NewsGuard thing. I just outlined it, so I don't remember, but
okay.
It was a reliable source.
Yeah. It says how U.S. policy in Honduras set the stage for today's immigration. Hondurans fleeing poverty and violence, who make up most of the participants of a caravan estimated between 7,000 and 8,000 people, are slowly moving through Mexico in the hope of reaching the United States and receiving refuge.
Okay, so I'm going to pull it down here in a second. So this is all going to kind of go into like their angle about how they don't like Trump, and we all know what their reasons are going to be. That's kind of the thing that's so funny. I was talking about Stephen Colbert to you in the car of like, why would anyone watch Stephen Colbert? Because anything happens in the news and you know exactly what the fuck Stephen Colbert is going to say.
Yeah.
So this is what I wanted you to get to.
U.S. roots of Honduran emigration. I first visited Honduras in 1987 to do research. As I walked around the city of Comayagua, many thought that I, a white male with short hair in his early 20s, was a U.S. soldier. This was because hundreds of U.S. soldiers were stationed at the nearby Palmarola Air Base at the time. Until shortly before my arrival, many of them would frequent Comayagua, particularly its red zone of female sex workers, like the red light district.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. military presence in Honduras and the roots of Honduran migration to the United States are closely linked. It began in the late 1890s when U.S.-based banana companies... I know a lot about banana companies, dude.
Yeah, it's bad news.
Yeah, they're fucking all of South America in the butt. First became active there. As historian Walter Lefebvre writes in Inevitable Revolutions, the United States in Central America, American companies built railroads, established their own banking systems, and bribed government officials at a dizzying pace. As a result, the Caribbean coast became a foreign-controlled enclave that systematically swung the whole of Honduras into a one-crop economy.
So that's important. I'm going to stop you there.
Wealth was carried
because
off
because that should be very, very evident as to how a country would. So think about like, I think people take for granted how large the United States is. So in order to kind of like have some kind of comparable example, think about Michigan. So, like, think about, so if Honduras is completely reliant on the trade of bananas and, like, whatever, like, system we establish, whatever resource we wanted to mine out of this area, which it seems like it's bananas or whatever produce, if the demand lowers or another country ends up having it, then the infrastructure of the whole country fails, as we've seen in Detroit, where no cars are being manufactured there anymore, and Detroit is now basically a desolate wasteland. So I just want to get to, like, this part here, and then a little bit the one below. So
should I read all of in between there, or should I just skip down?
Yeah, So just maybe read this part here.
Yeah, so such developments made Honduras' ruling class dependent on Washington for support. A central component of this ruling class was and remains the Honduran military. By the mid-60s, it had become, in Lefebvre's words, the country's most developed political institution, one that Washington played a key role in shaping.
So, okay, so we're going to get to, like, and then this part talks about Reagan, and I think that, like I said kind of, I think, a few podcasts ago, I hate blaming Reagan for things because this was so fucking long ago at this point, but a lot of the conflict in South America that hasn't been resolved, and you can blame it on their governments or whatever else, but it's like, at the end of the day, we still did intervene in recent history. And it seems like we have a bad everywhere we go, and like Libya, like everywhere we go and fuck around, Egypt, it just, we create this fucking vacuum when we pull stakes out and leave that creates just a problem for all the innocent people that are there. And like at the end of the day, it's like, I think it's important, no matter how annoying AOC is and whoever else, that we're not blaming the people of this country. We're blaming the government that didn't adapt along with it, but also I don't know how they would. And so then we'll get into this part here.
So this is in the Reagan bit. This was especially the case during the presidency of Ronald Reagan in the 1980s. At that time, U.S. political and military policy was so influential that many referred to the Central American country as the USS Honduras and the Pentagon Republic. As part of its effort to overthrow the Sandinista government in neighboring Nicaragua and roll back the region's leftist movements, the Reagan administration temporarily stationed several hundred U.S. soldiers in Honduras, temporarily in quotes. Moreover, it trained and sustained Nicaragua's Contra rebels on Honduran soil, while greatly increasing military aid and arms sales to the country.
So that's the bit that I wanted to bring up. So my point of even bringing up that article is not necessarily to say, like, we are responsible for migrant crises that are happening from these different areas. It's just that, like, we're not. If AOC was either, or like AOC, Ilhan, like all these people that seem to, like, they tell us how much we're supposed to care about this. If they talked about this, it would resonate.
Yeah.
In the sense of, like, if you just took the position of, like, it's not calling it racist is so fucking lazy and lame. But if you go, like, if you take the altruistic angle of we need to undo the damage we have done from from regime change wars, that's an effective fucking strategy.
Yeah. But
they don't do it. And very similarly to what Trump isn't saying on the other end, which is that why is Mexico not absorbing these migrants? And like so by him forcing their hand and like making them actually use their own military to like guard the border was kind of like, but he like threatened the tariffs, and that's what made them end up going into action, actually guarding the border. But none of these migrants want to stay in Mexico, and Mexico is a mess, but it's well developed and it could absorb these people, but they're not going there. And so like also I want to pull up one more thing, which is just talking about how our border is so porous, and I think that whenever we create these social programs that are good, it's a magnet for people to want to come in and use them. And so much so that we're getting this here.
Yeah,
this is from Reuters.
U.S. Dream pulls African migrants in record numbers across Latin America. Tapachula, Mexico. Marilyn Tatang, 23, crossed 9 borders in 2 months to reach Mexico from the West African nation of Cameroon.
That's fucking A.
Fleeing political violence after police torched her house, she said. File photo, there's a picture. A migrant from Cameroon holds his baby while trying to enter the Siglo.
Don't worry about that, sorry.
She plans to soon take a bus north for 4 days and then cross a 10th border into the United States. She is not alone. A record number of fellow Africans are flying to South America and then traversing thousands of miles of highway and treacherous tropical rainforest to reach the United States. Tatang, who is 8 months pregnant, took a raft.
Forget it.
The migrants vying for entry at the U.S. southern border are mainly Central Americans, but growing numbers from a handful of African countries are joining them, prompting calls from Trump and Mexico for other countries in Latin America to do their part to slow the overall flood of immigrants.
So we have a fucking problem here, and what's tough is it's like you'd want Trump to take the tact of like, look, he can't say anything about any kind of socialist programs, but like the reality is like we already have many, right? So and again, so like when we got really fired up in the debate about them all raising their hands for giving healthcare to illegal immigrants, all it would have taken was them to say, well, they already are. If they go into our emergency rooms, we have to serve them.
Yeah.
And so we might as well set up a system that they're paying into, or at least like participating in order to maybe recoup some of the costs that end up going into treating them anyway in emergency rooms. But none of them gave that caveat. And so like,
well, of course not.
Which again, I think that it's one of those things of, I don't think that either side cares about the truth on this. I think that like they are hedging their bets super far right and super far left in order to prop up the media for fucking ratings and make oligarchs in this country more money. I know that sounds super fucking conspiratorial, but I cannot find any logical answer to this anymore.
Right. I don't fucking know, dude. But like, how many? It was like 9 out of 10 raised their hands for that.
All of them did.
That question. All of them.
All of them.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah. Without any
you
explanation as
mentioned
to what they meant by that.
Right.
And then Gavin Newsom just signed something into law here where any legal immigrant under 25 can get Medi-Cal.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean,
and like, I can't even fucking afford my health insurance.
right.
Like, and also because I'm paying so much fucking money into taxes, but make enough money to pay that money into taxes that are going to go to people who don't even fucking live here, I can't get on Medi-Cal because I make too much money.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, who the fuck are you serving, dude? Are you serving us? Doesn't feel like it. It feels like a fucking clown show.
Yeah.
It feels like a fucking banana republic.
Well, there are actually some cities or counties, I'm not sure, in California that allow immigrants to vote in elections, which is wild.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is the ultimate goal.
It is. I mean, and that's the kind of unspoken thing. They plan to have this, and it's so evidenced by, but also too, like, I was thinking about it. So like, okay, let's say like, let's give kind of a hypothetical, right? Like this actually happens, and illegal immigrants can vote. Will they? I don't really think they will. I mean, most of America doesn't vote, so like, yeah,
you won't really get that much turnout.
But I mean, I guess they figure that it's enough. But one of the interesting ones was, like, I saw an article about the census data. So like, Trump just wants the simple question of like, are you a legal person or not? Which I think, again, so like with everything that seems to cause a lot of controversy, look at both of the explanations on each side, and then see if you can find which argument seems better to you. And in terms of that particular question, like a lot of it has to do with voting issues where I feel like Democrats don't have really any explanation on it. The first one is like showing ID to vote. Why do we not do that?
Right.
Like, why is that such a... But then they go like, well, black and brown communities don't have IDs. Well, fucking get them.
Yeah, make them get them.
Yeah, like
we all need one.
Agreed. Like, most of you drive cars. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why. Like, so that's a shitty argument to me. Like, because it has no substance to it. It's like, because it just like, you know they don't have ID cards. Well, why? Like, you should have some form of identification. You can literally spend 2 hours in the DMV. Even if you're not driving, you can get an ID card.
Yeah, an ID.
Like, and if you can't do that, then you're probably somebody that shouldn't be fucking voting anyway, because you're so fucked up that I don't really want your voting on the record.
I mean, do you think it's a failure on education's part?
No, I think it's a failure on like family, but I do think education does need like a basic, like how to write a check, how to balance a checkbook, like how to not get into debt. Like, these kinds of things happen, but I think that at 16 we all want autonomy, so we all, like, I think most normal people desperately want to figure out how to get a driver's license to get the fuck out of your house and go, get roadhead in the middle of nowhere. So
Excuse
it's like,
me?
yes. So like, that is ultimately what the priority is of most people. So this idea, but I mean, they're already granting illegal immigrants driver's licenses as well, which has the option to sign up to vote when you end up getting that as well. But like, I've not heard a good argument from the Democrats as to why showing ID to vote is a problem. And the other one is why I forgot my why like so why having a question on the census data about whether or not you're a legal citizen is a problem. Like, oh, it'll scare them away. Well, it's like, or they'll be put in a database. Well, we're all in a fucking database. So welcome to the fucking club. We have a social security number. We are able to be tracked. Like now through doing our face app thing, we all know, people know what the fuck our face looks like.
It's owned by like a Russian developer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no hiding from this. So like if you're here, you have to participate in the system as well. And so, I've not heard any good explanation on these two particular issues. And I think their only reason is because they are hedging their bets that they know they're going to end up losing, and importing more people in that would theoretically give them votes is enough for them to basically throw us all away as citizens and not really care about our rights or our entitlement programs that, as an American, we pay into. They'd rather they don't care about us. They really don't. And neither does Trump. I'm not going into like a defense of him. I think this is all a fucking just show from all of them. This is a giant fucking TV show. Anyway. So hang on a second. Just curious, why don't you think illegal immigrants? Why do you? I guess he's trying to say, why do you think illegal immigrants won't vote? Because it depends on the candidate. Like
Americans don't vote.
Well, you're right. I think like only about 60,000 or 60 million rather did in this last election, or maybe
abysmal. No. The presidential election was 100 million.
100 million. So yeah,
a third.
So a third of the less than a third of the country voted. And then black turnout for Obama was super high. For Hillary, none of them went out and voted. So it's all about like how well you're able to play into the TV show, of presenting yourself as somebody who gives a shit about whatever. And the more we lean into identity politics, the less we're going to actually resonate with people who, may or may not be of whatever kind of thing. I think, read Maya's for me.
Maya says, it's a power game. Calling racism is equal to when a child says, I'm telling. It immediately puts you in the power seat, and it really doesn't matter if you have any reasoning behind it. I mean, you were just saying this before we started the podcast. It's like these, the four horsewomen of the apocalypse get backed into a corner, or like, let's just say like AOC or Ilhan Omar. They get back into a corner.
They backed the whole party into a corner by calling Pelosi a fucking racist.
Dude, I know. And she's like the most powerful Democrat there is right now.
I know. And also, too, like, I dislike her severely. I think she's massively compromised, massively corrupt. But at the end of the day, like, she was on the right side of all of these issues before you guys were even a fucking thought. Like, before you were even grown up cum. Like, she has been on this so much longer than you. How dare you?
Right.
But their ego is so fucking enormous that they can't even wrap their head around it.
Yeah. Well, they get backed into a corner. They call racism so that they can take back some of that power.
Right.
Because they think enough people will be behind the fact that it is, quote, racist, or scare quotes racist.
But Trump has proved that you can just go, no.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, it's back to that thing with, like, Twitter validation. You get 20,000 likes on a tweet that calls something racist. You think you're right. But the vast majority of people don't even care about that tweet. They don't see the tweet, and they just wouldn't give it any attention.
Right.
So like the 300 million people, how many people are on Twitter? There's 300 million Americans. There's probably like, I don't know, 150 million Americans on Twitter, right?
I mean, it's a global thing, so I don't really know. I don't know how many people are.
That's a guess.
That's interesting.
Guess. But the thing is, like, if only 20,000 like your tweet calling Donald Trump racist, it's like that's a fraction of a percent of the actual consensus of
Twitter reported that the number of monthly active users is declining. Twitter claimed 321 million monthly users, down 9 million.
Ooh, I way overestimated that. I was gonna say like half of Americans are on Twitter, but that is so not true, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, considering it's a global, I think it's actually, this is not an original thought, but I think that truly, if like Donald Trump was like, yeah, I'm going to just go on to Gab and just move over there,
people would follow.
Twitter would be gone. It would not exist anymore. I think the only thing keeping Twitter alive is Donald Trump being on the platform. Because think about it.
You don't think it's Patton Oswalt?
Right, exactly. Because think about it, like all these fucking checkmark boomers are they're only on Twitter to talk about, try to give a hot take that will go viral about Trump.
Of course.
And so if he's not on the platform and you can't retweet him or requote him, like no one will really care anymore. It has no weight in any other kind of way. And like and also like I think that like political activism Twitter is much more powerful than funny Twitter or whatever else. It just seems to be this nonstop kind of, you know, political discourse back and forth about it. Do you mind reading Perry's comments?
Yeah, Perry says, my ex's family immigrated from Mexico and he absolutely hated the U.S. Would talk unironically about wanting the U.S. to collapse and opening the borders. Never could answer why they don't move back when they've got dual citizenship. Only just you're racist.
Yeah, and it is aggravating. Like I know it's like it's pretty memey and it's pretty boomer to say like, if you don't like it, then get out.
Yeah.
But it is kind of like, if you're gonna, like, I think the more like the fruit basket response is, if you're gonna keep complaining and you're not providing me solutions, then I don't want to hear from you anymore.
That is the fruit basket stamp of approval.
And like I you know, it's funny because like I was even talking about like breaking up with friends to you, like about I've just had some friends that have just made me fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because they have this serious problem. They have no awareness to know that if everyone around them is the problem, that they might be the problem. So that's step one. Step two is also like, okay, like I'm giving you these kind of solutions on how to fix the problem, but you appear to kind of only want to sit in your own misery because you're kind of enjoying it a little bit. And I think that that's the reality of what it is. It's kind of in fashion. It's fashionable to say you're suffering.
Interesting.
And it also gives you an excuse about all the failure that is going on in your life around you.
Right.
And it's more comfortable to just be like, well, it's a system that's keeping me down, not you actually trying.
I think I said this 2 episodes, but we've reached a culture where it's less popular to look inward, where looking outward at an outward force,
as we said before, it's
to see what's holding you back.
It's easier.
It's a lot easier, dude.
Yeah.
But nobody ever self-reflects anymore.
No, of course not. Because it is hard.
Oh, there you go. It's like, racist?
So we're going to keep this one pretty loosey-goosey just because our last one was so heavy, and I didn't really have time to prepare for this because I wanted for us to just kind of have fun. So probably just going to take questions and feed off of you guys.
Yeah.
Because I also, like, again, the thing I want to make really, really clear is, like, this isn't like an endorsement of Trump. Like,
no.
But again, like, Sean and I are not triggered by him. Like, nothing he does, like, really upsets us.
It's why I faked a tweet to put in our thumbnail.
Yeah. Because
I thought it was funny.
Because the reality that you guys should accept is that this is all theater to feed powers that are bigger than these people that are in public. The ones that are in private that have billions of dollars are the ones that are controlling all of this. And so, and Trump's not a billionaire. I think liquid, he's maybe worth $50 million. I really don't think he's worth that much money, liquid. So anyway, yeah, I only talk shit about boomers because boomers, like I said before, Tom, boomers a mindset. It's not like all of the New York Times, like reply guys that are like New York Times journalists, that's a boomer mindset on Twitter.
Dude, reply guys are so embarrassing.
It's the worst.
They're just really, sorry, I'm adjusting my necktie.
Your neck accoutrement?
My accoutrement, yeah. There really is like a boomer mentality to be a reply guy on Twitter, and that's not an age exclusive thing. You can be whatever age and be of boomer mentality.
Gen Z doesn't do it though. It's millennials.
Gen Z's cool.
I think Gen Z is going to be fucking scary. I think that they are, like I said, I think on another podcast, they are internet incarnate. They are just like human internet.
I mean, I identify with Gen Z, but I guess I'm like on the cusp or whatever. People would say I'm a millennial.
You are Gen Z, but I think that you're gonna get both sides of it. Like because like you understand, like, you know, for instance, like if people talk about like the failure of like whatever's going on or like the housing crisis, like you have no connection to that because like you weren't really cognizant in 2008. Like you were, but you were 11, right?
Right. I had no political consciousness.
I directly saw that affect my future.
Yeah.
And I think that like Gen Z, like even when you were growing up, the emphasis on college was like a little bit less than it was like for millennials. It was so like, if you don't go to college,
you're gonna die.
You're gonna die. You're gonna die. You'll
never own a house.
You're gonna get AIDS. And then now we're all just fucking munching on Oxycontin and trying to not think about anything else being a reply guy on Twitter. So like millennials are fucking boomers. I mean,
they're boomers incarnate.
Totally. So like you can be a millennial and be a boomer.
Yeah.
Do you mind reading some of Kevin's comments?
Kevin says Does anyone remember the days when people made Asian jokes and they were funny? Now everything is racist now. He also says, literally someone told me I was racist because I said my whole high school AP algebra class was all Asian and everyone was super smart and intelligent, and they called me racist when I am Asian myself. I think there's a funny...
Kevin, welcome. You're Asians are the white... You're with us with white people.
They're the white people of color.
Because Asians actually make more money and are more educated than white people, which is like really like inconvenient to the narrative. And so, like, yeah, welcome. You're in the shit with us. Which I think is why the two people of color we have that are participate and listen are Asian. Because you see the same shit we do. Of like there's a certain level like the two the three in vogue things that will basically make you kind of untouchable are trans, Muslim, or black. That's the three.
Disabled.
None people that doesn't even seem to hold the whole weight. That does not seem to hold the same weight.
Wow.
Even though it should. I actually think disabled is the one where you should get away with fucking murder. Like if you're fucking like proper disabled, like you do whatever you want.
You get everything.
Yeah, dude. Like get your fucking dick sucked. Like hire a prostitute. Start doing heroin. Like just fucking do it.
What's the moral dilemma if there's a disabled man in Epstein's black book? It's been on the plane 12 times.
That means that Epstein's super progressive. I mean, he's fucking sucking off.
He's not ableist. Yeah,
he's sucking off spina bifida kids. That's fucking rad.
No,
I'm all into this.
I mean, the spina bifida people are getting sucked off
by
children. Then do you say burn them?
No. Well, fuck. That's no.
Just throw them in prison. Life in prison.
Yes, yeah.
Burn everybody else.
But they have their own kind of. Fuck.
Jordan, you gotta be really careful.
I know, yeah. It's 2019, baby.
I don't want to make any ableist statements here.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing about, like, your AP algebra class being mostly Asian, so fucking be it, dude.
Then again, too, it's like you can go into, like, the fucking race realist rabbit hole, but you're not gonna do that. But
yeah.
But I mean, like, just in terms of like spatial IQ and just sort of like math comprehension, like Asians just fucking score higher in that department. And then like verbal IQ is like typically lower, which is why like most fucking like Nobel literature, like most Nobel literary prize winners are like Ashkenazi Jewish, which they score the highest in that particular area. And then we'll just leave that data right at that.
Jordan,
that's as far as the race realist data goes.
Yeah, let's not get too far into it.
Yeah, we don't want to weaponize any of you for.
I mean, I'm a fucking dumbass. Where does that put me on the race spectrum?
I'm fucking stupid too. So yeah,
Maya says people in general are not that funny anymore. If you don't think, you can't create.
Yeah.
What do you guys think is the future of millennials who lack opinions, humor, and creativity?
It's actually so funny. I was just talking about how like no one seems to be fucking having fun anymore.
Yeah.
Everyone's just fucking miserable.
They try to be artists. I think millennials try very hard to be artists, and they make bad art.
But they don't because I was actually having a conversation with a friend about this. She's a musician. She was asking like why I've gone solely into producing, and I'm like because I ran out of shit to say as a songwriter. Because the songs that I would write when I was recording, like I was trying to be an artist, were like pretty esoteric. Like basically trying to manifest the shit that you guys hear me say on this podcast into a song. So it's like, but I mean, like think about Shouting Clowns, the song I released. Like, yes. I mean, it's very specific about kind of lifestyle blogging and like just like shit that I was seeing my peers doing that was pissing me off, and figuring out how to articulate it into the song. Which one of the lines that I'm really proud of in that song is, "Will you take yourself so seriously when no one thinks you're pretty?"
Yeah.
And so like that line was what manifested all the words around it. So, but now it's like, it's kind of like how Rage Against the Machine is so fucking out of touch now, but like served a purpose during a time when there was like clandestine fuck around, but now everything's in your face. So if you write a fucking anti-Trump song, it's like one of a fucking zillion, number one.
Yeah.
And also just kind of, it's supporting a message that's being pushed by just a different brand of oligarchs. So you have the Soros figures that are like the left-wing oligarchs, and then you have the Koch brother figures that are the right-wing oligarchs. And then so if you write a song that's anti-Trump, it just feeds one oligarch and not the other one. If you write a song about Candace Owens and how she's the fucking hottest shit on the planet, then you're feeding the Koch brothers. It's like, it's just like there's no like. So now we just fucking write about how like you're you know how fucking resilient your pussy is, and that's like a good enough song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elasticity of the pussy is so in right now.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned lifestyle bloggers because
We're gonna be them now.
we are gonna be
Yeah,
them.
we decided.
To
2-year anniversary to commemorate.
Yeah, I think the only way to really express my love for you is online.
Yeah.
So
Well, because if we don't show it online, it doesn't exist.
exactly.
It's not real.
So I was thinking we have like a few photo shoots. Like we go, I don't know, we could go to the beach or something. We could go get boba tea.
Okay, wait, let's stop. So we're going to the beach. Okay, that's number one. We're going to the beach.
Yeah.
We
Pack
wear
your Speedo.
Speedo, of
Yep.
course. Pack the Speedo. We need ice cream, like on a cone.
Yes, with
because we have to take a
waffle
picture.
cone.
We have to take a picture of our hand. Here, I'm gonna get out of the frame here.
Yeah.
That's the lifestyle blogger thing. Imagine ice cream in my hand. That's the lifestyle blogger picture.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So ice cream cones, Speedos. We talk about how much. You're such a goober.
Oh, you are a goober.
You're such a
Oh,
goober, Sean.
I actually love goober. I love calling you a goober because you hate it so fucking much.
We're just a couple of goobers.
Oh, a gay. This is a tweet from my friend Jack. He tweeted, a gay will smile in a picture once and suddenly think he's a goober.
You know what?
Why is goober the word?
I can tell you what goober is. It's trying to dismantle the fact that you're being a whore, but like if you make it silly, then you're not a total fucking.
Then you
slut.
don't take yourself seriously.
And you know what I like? So we did a whole podcast about lifestyle bloggers, but like I think we kind of were playing it funnier. I don't really remember, but no. Although I think I was pretty disturbed because we dealt with some friends of mine that.
Yeah.
But like what bothers me about it is like. It struck me in that moment because I realized it's like a harbinger of the future, where harbinger of things to come in the future. So, how brands have now, our friends are now selling us products.
Yeah.
But they're pretending that it's organic, but you've curated your whole existence to sell me booty or whatever else.
Yeah. Booty. I think
Yeah.
you mean sip tea.
It's,
Not. No, yeah. I mean, everything is sort of packaged into an ad now. When you're a lifestyle blogger, it's like if we went to the beach and had ice cream in our hands, it would be packaged into like Halo Top ice cream.
of course.
So it's like
when we eat ice cream, we only
it's always Halo
always
Top.
Halo Top.
Hashtag Halo partner.
Hashtag yeah.
Hashtag ad. It's really disturbing.
And then there's just like, but you look at so now that like everyone kind of got on this train, you go on like onto the discovery part of Instagram, and then you see like these it's like a hot whatever. So you go on their page, and they're all fucking selling you shit.
Yeah.
And so it's like
Clearasil.
Give hashtag dick sucker for 25% off of your next like whatever.
I don't know if I mentioned this on a previous episode, but I literally saw like an Instagram ad where a dude was advertising a vibrating butt plug.
Yeah.
Insane. An Instagram video.
It doesn't surprise because it's so funny.
And he was using it.
I was actually thinking about this in context. We'll get to Kevin's thing in a second. But I was thinking about in context of. So I was thinking about this, right? So like, I love this guy named Tim Dillon. He's Tim J. Dillon is how you find him. He's a comedian. He's gay also, but is like us. Does not give a fuck about the identity. Probably even talks about it less than we do, honestly. Mm-hmm. I think because he actually is legitimately funny. Like I don't brand myself as a comedian. Like I think I say funny things occasionally. But I'm more of a commentator, I think, and kind of a darker person than darker, but I can't manifest that into humor as well as a comedian. But so he's great, but I was thinking about it. So like his whole angle on his podcast is these kind of rants that are super funny because he's like this chaotic kind of energy and force about his whole thing.
So fun.
But he's also really into conspiracies. Like he's one of the ones that was like so on the Epstein stuff, like right, like kind of when we were on it, interviewed like all the right people. He interviewed that Nick guy that we brought up in the podcast. What was his name? Nick. Doesn't matter. Anyway, like someone who wrote extensively about
Bryant.
Nick Bryant.
Sorry,
who wrote extensively about Epstein. And but I was thinking about it. So like his ad reads are for Blue Chew, right? So Blue Chew is it's a generic brand that is like now
Cialis or Viagra.
Exactly. And so if you're beholden to now a massive pharmaceutical conglomerate, can you criticize pharmaceutical stuff?
Big pharma.
Right, which is something that deserves to be criticized constantly.
Incessantly, yes.
So it's like, like to me, it felt like a very strange dichotomy of like, okay, so You're very like it was, and I remember I remember it read to me as so odd because he was interviewing this guy who used to be in the CIA and was just talking about all the fucked up stuff that the CIA does, and then does a Blue Chew read
right in the middle.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, so
maybe that's the only kind of person who
it is
the only brand
that
that's
DSI and Blue Chew will sponsor any fucking. It doesn't. You could shout the N-word from the rooftops on video and they'd still sponsor you. Which God bless, but I mean, but still, it's interesting. It was like an interesting kind of thought that I had of like.
Yeah.
So you are kind of compromised in a little bit of a way, like
interesting.
Of like I wonder what you could actually say about these kinds of things, and like also too like Blue Chew, like. None of us really need Viagra. We're all young.
No.
But do people take it for fun? Is that something people do?
I think people do.
Okay.
I think people like to get their dick
it's like
really
it's
fucking
like
hard.
Is Blue Chew like the fucking jewel of like dick pills? Is that what's going on?
I guess it is because I'm seeing it in ads before porn.
It's everywhere. Yeah, you know, me too. Yeah,
and it's like my dick's already rock hard.
Like it was that fucking music, Blue Chew.
It's like YouTube royalty-free music.
And I'm like, I'm trying to watch a twink gangbang right now.
I know my dick is rock hard. I don't need Blue Chew, dude.
No. I should probably catch up with some of these.
Yeah. Kevin said something about OnlyFans. We were actually talking about me starting an OnlyFans.
Yes.
And that I would do numbers on that.
I think you would. Yeah.
I think you would too.
I don't think so. No, you're
Really?
more what people would look for on that.
I would.
I don't really like. I would only speak to like a really specific demographic in the way that I look, but like, and I've never like really looked like a twink. I've always been like, kind of this tweener thing.
Else, yeah.
Yeah, like the way that I describe how I look to people is that I look like somebody who, like, if you saw a picture from 1930s Dust Bowl, that's just what I look like. And so like I'm like a weird person that I think they got like transported out of time and I don't belong in this particular era.
Yeah, I think that's pretty true. You're a duster.
Yes.
So there's bear, twink, duster, otter.
You made a new category for me.
Yeah, duster.
So
where you don't really fit into.
When you make your
look
OnlyFans
historic.
account, what kind of content are you gonna put on there?
Dude, double-ended dildo.
But who's gonna share the dildo with you?
I'm gonna put both ends in my ass.
That'll work.
I don't think I would do anything super hardcore if I did an OnlyFans.
What if we?
I think I'd be pretty softcore porn.
Yeah. What if we like
very sensual? Like this,
Yeah.
an indicator of what kind of.
You know what I was thinking? So you know that porn website, Family Dick?
Of course.
So it's like the whole scenario
not?
For people on here that are straight, which I think is 2 of you. It is the whole premise of their videos is, and then this occurs in straight porn too, is like stepfather, whatever, like fucks stepson, and like, is that something that people want to happen a lot?
I think it's a forbidden fantasy.
I think it's so gross. It's like
I think it's the exploitation of the power dynamic that's hot. But like 2 people from Family Dick branched off and started doing fun size boys. Boy size.
Oh, that little
boys.
itty bitty kid that looks like younger than you.
His name's Austin something.
He's so tiny.
He's tiny.
Yeah.
But he's like.
You know what I hate about him is like he's so like. Oh, yeah. It's like Armin Rizzo where he's just like.
He is like Armin Rizzo. Yeah, it's like, so he and this other dude who's like probably like 6 feet tall, but like Austin, this little kid, he's like probably like 19. Or maybe, I don't know.
He looks like 13. I mean,
yeah, he looks 13.
Like
and he
looks
tiny.
he looks so young to me that I can't even get off to him. Like it's like gross.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's odd.
Yeah.
It's very odd, but there's a market for them. I mean, the market dictates what gets made.
Right.
So like, there's a desire for people to watch this weird power dynamic or this weird size dynamic.
I get the size dynamic. I mean, I for sure get that, but like, I mean, that's kind of the hole that. The holes that Armin Rizzo fills, I think, because he's like a little tiny person.
Yeah.
But he's also so obnoxious with like just the over the top, like, oh my god.
Okay, so what I would be then
Okay.
is the small dude who isn't a whiner.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh. I would have a really deep voice.
Yeah.
And I would take massive.
You know,
dicks.
you should do is
What?
you should do Christian Bale's Batman voice.
Yeah.
I am.
Where's Rachel?
I am gay.
Put it. I am gay. Put it in my asshole. It's the Joker. He's twisted.
Okay, let's get you on some of these.
Oh God, yeah. What are we missing? Can you guys do a stereotypical gay couple vlog YouTube channel? We absolutely could, and that's what we're gonna go for with our influencer lifestyle.
It's interesting because like I actually thought I thought about it would be pretty funny to make like a fake Instagram of us, like because we don't ever post pictures of each other. Like in fact, like we should post one today of like
it's our anniversary.
I know, but like it's so not in our nature to do it.
Yeah.
Like unless
we can take one with this ring light we have.
We can, yeah.
We'll look
yeah.
really hot.
Well, good, yeah. But I thought that like I think that we would do a lifestyle blogger parody so well that it just wouldn't look like parody.
Dude, I know we're really good at that.
Because,
we're good at acting
because we understand. Well, it's that we understand the ins and outs of it so well, like that. There's just no
because our friends have been advertising to us for years.
Dude, all of our friends are just selling us fucking stupid products, like.
And like get that coin, but have a separate account for a personal that I can follow.
Yeah, well, I mean, the great thing is you can just mute these people. But you know, it's so funny. Like I know that our two friends know, like those two friends that we went, that they know. You know, it's so funny too because like I posted that picture of my feet with the influencer free zone thing, and just this person liked it. Which yeah. I'm like, interesting. So I'm like, they have to hate this life. There has to be some element of them that's like, ugh. Every time I have to take a picture of them, like a couple of goobers at the fucking
goobers.
Oh my god!
I love being a goober with you.
Yeah.
We really should. We should really do like the fruit goobers or like goober fruits.
What is mukbang? He's mentioned that before.
Mukbang is where you eat as much food as you can on camera. You like stuff your
Dude,
face.
I'm so into that.
We should do
That's
that.
just like us when we're like I'm making pulled pork right now.
And I made little creme or like pot de creme.
Neon Oni, why? Because I've taken Cialis before, and it just like made me almost have a panic attack because it sped my heart rate up. I found it to be really like, and my dick's. I don't need that. I don't know. I don't need it. So I found it to be like really uncomfortable. Do you want to read some more comments?
Yeah, we've had at least two people say that we can't just talk about having like a lifestyle page and not do it. That there's already demand from 2 out of the 7 or 8 people here, so looks like we got to do it. I think it would be really well executed if we did it.
Yeah, I've tried out a few different Instagram brands. Like one of them was finding the bad fan art, and then I found someone else like was doing it better. And then I thought about making this page of like fuck your addiction standards, and then like I just had pictures of Tess Holliday, that morbidly obese model.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do like take pictures of like needles.
No, that's what it was.
So, shit.
So what it was like, and then it was interesting because she saw it. So like what happened was like, so I would post like
who saw it?
Tess Holliday, like that really obese model.
She saw what?
So I would post pictures of her and pictures of needles and stuff like that, and be like, these are the same because they are the same. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like it was like a junkies like all passed out with the fucking thing, and I'm like, fuck.
She's addicted to food.
Yeah, fuck your addiction standards. Like this shit, like just kind of making the two. It was pretty weak. It was a pretty weak premise, but like I was, but and ultimately
we can strengthen it.
Well, it just felt mean. Like I mean, she's a bad person, but I still felt mean. It still felt mean to me. And but I would tag her, and she'd untag herself out of the pictures.
Wow.
Yeah. And so she was like very aware that I was doing this, and I'm like, I don't want to get in a fight with this just horribly miserable 400-pound woman.
Oh.
Yeah, but she fucking sucks. Like 17,000 AIDS bloody dicks.
Yeah. Kevin says he would just 18,000 bloody dicks. Yeah, sorry. It's my brain went somewhere very sexual with that. I really.
You have like a bloody AIDS dick fetish?
That's what I'm gonna do on my OnlyFans. Actually, it's gonna be blood everywhere. Kevin also says, don't yuck someone's yum, and I would do a mukbang ASMR on my OnlyFans. I think that's a really great route to go.
I think so too.
Mukbang ASMR, but like shirtless, so that it has like an air of sexuality to it, because that's what people are going to pay for.
Well, so before I met you and like I was on Grindr, one of the best fucking deals I've ever saw was the fucking feet people, and you could sell them your socks that you had worn,
dude,
for like $100 a pair. And no joke, like right before we met, I was like seriously considering doing that. It's like, yeah, I'm like, are you like kind of like this? Like women have it so much better because they can sell like really anything they want. Like that what's that Belle Delphine that sold her bath water?
Yeah, the gamer girl, Bella Delphine or whatever the fuck her name is, was selling gamer girl bathwater.
Dude, get it, girl. I mean, seriously, like
The market dictates what needs to be
and
made.
never underestimate neckbeard desperate. Just terrible.
It's exactly what they want.
Yeah.
They want to drink her nasty ass, sweaty ass, dirty ass water.
Yeah.
And so be it.
Yeah.
Sell it for $30
Agreed.
a jar.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'll sell my underwear.
Yeah, I would too. Well, I don't wear any.
You can sell your shorts.
You know what? I had a thought about that last night. Like, so, I don't know if this is like TMI, but I don't really give a shit. I don't ever wear underwear. I never wear it. I hate it. It feels awful to wear. Like, my junk's like big enough to where like it's still comfortable to not wear it with that, but like it's also not curved or anything weird. It's like it can sit right on the fly line.
You're so lucky, dude.
Yeah.
I am enough of a shower that I have to wear underwear.
Yeah.
So like my dick will go to one side or the other, and I can't hide it.
But I've not worn it for so long that now when I wear it, it feels so fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I was actually thinking too, like it's so normal in my head, but it's so eccentric to the rest of the world.
Yeah, you really like.
I don't.
It's still called going commando.
I don't rewear pants though. Like just so you guys know, like
Okay.
I wash the pants after I use them. So like my pants wear out faster, obviously.
Yeah.
But I would rather have that than have to wear underwear. I fucking
That's really
hate it.
interesting.
But I was thinking about it last night. Like I'm a fucking eccentric on this one.
Yeah.
Like this is super fucking weird.
I wear pants like 3 or 4 times before I wash them
Yeah. No, I don't do that.
because I wear underwear.
I don't like that they don't fit the same. Like they like
What do you mean?
pants that fit you really really well. Like after they've been cleaned.
Oh, yeah.
Like day 2, they already are like loosened and don't.
Yeah,
fit
they
as well.
stretch a little when you wear them multiple times in a row. What else do we got here?
Kevin, I guarantee you that you're young and hot enough
I'm
to
not hot
sell
enough
your bathwater. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, honestly, there's a market for it. Sell it, dude.
Yeah.
But advertise it in a way that's like Asian bathwater.
Yeah, because then you get like
you get
an exotic.
fetishists.
You know what? Even more so, I would be very curious.
Oh God.
Oriental bathwater.
Oh my God, you would get the exact kind of thirsty racist that you would want to buy your bathwater.
Because there's a little bit like the people who like fetishize one particular race. It's a racist sort of thing. Like truly in the sense of like especially like white and like or like whatever race in Asian, they want that kind of like what they view as a subservient quality that is not obviously universally true of all Asians.
Yeah.
But it's
I
so
think I've had
racist
this
in its
conversation
roots.
with Maya before, where like the Asian stereotype of being
Truly
demure
truly
and, like,
racist,
submissive.
though.
Yeah.
Like in the sense of like you think that white people are more or less subservient than it's just fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it is true racism. Maya says, porn is a metaphor to our current society. Of course, content is ridiculous and lacking in quality. We are as simplified as we let ourselves become. Well, I mean, the whole thing that like porn is shifting towards OnlyFans is like
They have to do that because
let it,
like so I think I don't remember which comedian it was. So again, I don't want to take credit for a joke that isn't mine, but they just said you could stop producing porn now and there's enough to last the rest of our lives.
Oh yeah.
But with OnlyFans, you can then be your own business. And so like the reality is like if you're a porn actor that goes on like a set, you're not going to make the money that used to be made anymore. Like studios don't have that kind of money. There isn't some massive studios making porn anymore. It's kind of like record labels. They've been broken up into these kind of smaller subsidiaries.
Yeah.
So you can still do pro porn, but like I don't know about you, like I think because we're so saturated with professional porn, I prefer amateur content.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
really bizarre how that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, things are too produced.
it's too I need some reality injected in the whole thing.
And maybe that's just us, but
I
I
don't think
know.
it is.
But we shift towards things like OnlyFans because maybe we all desire something a little more real.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I don't like they're like it's kind of like the Bellamy thing, which again to the straight people listening, Bellamy is a Czech, it's like a Czech Republic porn studio, and they just get like Slovakian men. There's something in the water where they're just and women
Fucking
too.
gorgeous.
They're gorgeous, but they're also
and
broke
big dicked.
and they have big dicks, but they also have no money and will do anything for anything. So most of them are straight. But the problem is that like you watch the porn and it's so austere, like it's so it's so clinical. It has no life to it or passion, and I think that's kind of what we're so hungry to see now.
Yeah. Neon Oni says, I've been attracted to Asian women my whole life, but always thought that the subservient stereotype was ridiculous, and I've never been into it at all. They need to know karate, though. Dude, you need to be dominated by an Asian woman. I think that's what you want.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Kevin says, when Sean, Cody, and Bellamy started doing vlogs, they do vlogs?
Well, they did like a few, like, I don't know what he means by that, but I know they've done like a few joint things, and like, but Sean Cody's kind of the same way, where it's just like, they all look the fucking same. Like, it's all these kind of blonde, athlete-y type guys, and it's just, like, and again, and most of them are straight. And
the
so, like,
older ones are hotter to me than the newer ones.
Yeah, agreed.
There's, like, a weird level of, like, lower quality that I'm super into.
I think, because again, you're looking for the kind of amateur element to it.
Realness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, there were a few like Bellamy and Sean Cody. This is like so insider gay baseball. I'm sorry, guys.
Whatever. But welcome to the team, guys.
Actually, Neon Oni, maybe you can, because you're straight. Like, there must be like there must be straight porn coming out of the Czech Republic, because there must be. I just don't know what studio does it. But it's kind of the same thing. It's just this thing of like, it's just very, very clinical.
It is clinical.
It's just,
especially things like Bellamy.
And they're clearly not enjoying it. They're like, yeah. And then also, you know what the big one is eating ass. Like, you can tell that it's like
they eat around the ass.
They don't even touch it. It's just like, it's like they're just like, okay, I'm willing to fucking take a dick in the ass or fucking ass, but I'm not willing to put my mouth near that.
They keep a 1-inch radius of the actual hole.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Yeah, that porn feels very inorganic.
It does.
And like, sex is, in a way, it's a very spiritual thing. So like, to have it so produced feels unnatural to me. Well, I can't get hard.
It kind of makes me want like
watching it,
because like, so there's been a lot of studies that have been coming out recently that young people are just not having sex anymore. They're just not.
What?
Like, it's declined. In fact, like, and I'll pull something up.
Does that include the gays?
Well, I don't think. Well, I mean, it probably does to an extent, but we're not necessarily like quantifiable, because a lot of us don't say that we are, like, in studies or whatever.
That's true. That's true. Less young people having sex. This is weird. An Atlantic article, or The Atlantic.
Let me do a...
Why are young people having so little sex? Let's outline that shit, homie. The sex recession is what it's called. Are you guys having less sex? I don't know. All of our younger viewers are Gen Z and millennials. These should be boom times for sex. It's the first line of the article. The share of Americans who say sex between unmarried adults is not wrong at all is at an all-time high. New cases of HIV are at an all-time low. Most women can, at last, get birth control for free and the morning after pill without a prescription. If hookups are your thing, Grindr and Tinder offer the prospect of casual sex within the hour. Whenever something exists, there's a porn of it. Polyamory is a household word. Shame Latin terms like perversion have given way to cheerful-sounding ones like kink. Anal sex has gone from final taboo to fifth base. Dude, that's first base for gays. Despite all this, American teenagers and young adults are having less sex. To the relief of many parents, educators, and clergy members who care about the health and well-being of young people, teens are launching their sex lives later. From 1991 to 2017, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Youth Risk Behavior Survey finds the percentage of high school students who had intercourse dropped from 54 to 40%. U.S. teen pregnancy rate has plummeted to a third of its modern high. When this decline started in the 1990s, it was widely and rightly embraced. Let's see. Gen Xers and baby boomers also may be having less sex today than previous generations did at the same age. From the late 90s to 2014, Twenge found, drawing on data from the General Social Survey, the average adult went from having sex 62 times a year to 54 times. Honestly, I think you and I have dropped to about that number on average, because we have sex like once a week.
Well, but that's not by design.
We see each other once a week. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. I meant to say that.
But like, in fact, like, I mean, so like, I mean, and this is like from learning from other relationships. Like, even if you don't want to do it, you do it.
You have to. Yeah.
You do it.
It's a matter of like, it's glue that holds together a relationship.
Yeah.
Our souls are very attracted to one another, but we have to fuck.
Yeah.
To keep those souls attracted to one another.
Right. Yeah. And I think that like even if you're not fucking, like even if like neither party wants to, it sows a resentment that you don't.
It's like, why aren't we having sex?
Right.
Do you hate me? Do you think I'm not hot
and
anymore?
that's exactly the thing. So like it'll like sow these like seeds of insecurity, but I think that like a lot of men like I think it's kind of like going into the incel thing of like well, I kind of have all these substitutes for taking care of this without having to actually interact with a human, which is frightening to me because I've now so insulated myself into my own environment. You want to catch up on some of these?
Yeah. Let's see. Honestly, I get off of straight porn too. Like, I envy wanting to have her fake ass as my own ass. Like, yes, Hunty. Dude, sometimes I watch straight porn too.
And you know what's so funny about it is that like Dr. Drew was kind of talking about this, about how what you view in porn isn't necessarily what you want.
Yeah.
But like there's something about the fucking just giant whores with the big bolt-ons that like gets me going, because it's just like, you are fucking just a fuck machine.
You are made for sex.
Made for sex.
Yeah.
And like,
or you've designed yourself to be for sex.
Exactly. So like I've definitely gotten into that. Like it's funny, like I never want to play the submissive role really, but there's something about like watching somebody in that position that does kind of get me going.
Totally.
Although this doesn't matter to you straight guys, but like the guys they cast in straight porn are never dumpy.
And it's so annoying because like gay porn does it so well where all the men are usually very hot.
Right. Or is someone really... But the scenario is set up. If it's somebody dumpy fucking somebody who's really hot, there's a scenario there of like, I'm a gross pig. Like,
yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't know, but straight porn just kind of fails at making the dude hot because it's not for viewers who like to look at men. It's for viewers who like to look at women who are sexy. It's straight porn, that is. So like, I mean, that's why like lesbian porn is such a huge thing among straight men, but gay porn isn't, of course.
Right.
Because they like to look at the women's bodies. They don't like to see a hot man.
I think that it's inserting yourself into the scenario that's happening is kind of the ultimate goal.
Interesting. We have another from Neon Oni. Czech porn is often really creepy. Cream pie orgies are casting garbage. Czech women are beautiful, but Czech and Eastern European hetero porn is pretty dark or gimmicky.
Yeah, and it's actually interesting because like there was it's the same with the gay porn that comes out of there, because like there's like kind of no standards on like what's sort of socially acceptable. Like I remember there was a video I was watching that was someone getting choked, like, which you know, I like rough kind of stuff. You know, like there's a few different companies, we didn't like plug them or anything, but there's a part in the film where he like takes a rope and actually starts to like and the guy's face is turning purple, and I'm like, this shit would not happen in America. Yeah. Like it got to be really dark to where I could tell the person bottoming was so desperate for money, he was willing to accept what was happening to him, and it got very fucking dark very fast. Yeah. And I was like, this is
there's
Europe.
A line that it crosses.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, that's no good.
But I don't know. I think I ran out of shit to say.
I think I did too. I think we talked about our fit tea. We talked about Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
What
Donald
else was
Trump.
Oh, we didn't really talk about Praxis. I mean, is there really anything to say about Karl Marx and Praxis?
Not really. Not really. Well, I mean, it was funny because like there was an intersection of a podcast, the ex-fiance of a podcast host that I like a lot, and a trans celebrity that I interacted with at a certain part of my life that I have a lot of disdain for, and how like it's this weird, so like they talk about the same things that we talk about, but it's all under the angle of like burn it down to like erect Karl Marx's ideologies, which is a really weird position to take. We're very much like burn it down because we're looking forward to the chaos and we want to watch it burn, but not because
from our safe compound that we will have.
Right, exactly, with many weapons that people don't like, and gates and
access codes.
We
will be safe.
But yeah, it's a funny thing to me of like this idea of people think like, oh, if we burn down this system of government, we will be able to perfectly implement a Marxist idea of government, and everything will be amazing. Baby. That's Praxis.
That is Praxis, baby. No, yeah, I think, I mean, There's a video of this girl just making fun of people like that who are like, that's praxis.
That's praxis. I got an abortion
And really-
at 9 months. That's
praxis.
praxis.
I mean, really what praxis is like the
Implementation.
practical application of certain ideologies. Like, you'll see it in like the Catholic Church. Like, when you go to like praxis, like it would be like if you did Lent, you gave up ice cream for Lent. That's praxis. That's practicing a part of your ideology.
Right.
And praxis in today's terms is Marxism.
Right. Exactly.
So I don't know. One more thing. Dave Rubin just interviewed your girl Marianne Williamson. Should be a fun hour.
Yeah,
We
I
were
actually
meaning
saw
to watch
that, and I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I definitely will end up watching that. It's so funny. Like I was talking to Sean about how like I mentioned in the beginning too, just about like people whose takes like we already know what the fuck she's gonna say.
Oh, of course.
I just wonder how
Love
far
will win.
love will win. Yeah.
I love her so much. Dude.
She. You know what it is, like we were saying this kind of briefly last night when we were going to bed and texting each other, was like she legit is a good a good kind person.
She is a good person.
Yeah.
She's sincere.
Which is like kind of a nice, like, in contrast to someone like Kamala Harris, who I think is like legitimately a bad person.
She's a liar and
Yeah.
a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like I hope she just keeps like staying on the stage and just gets to like kind of preach her sort of like sweetness.
I hope so too.
Yeah, because like we need a little sweetness in this whole thing.
And honestly, who says our president can't be an author?
Right.
Our president's already a businessman who has no political experience.
No.
Let's let our president be a hot author.
She is hot.
She's so fucking.
Yeah.
She's got like big like Liza Minnelli vibes. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
like-
Well, she should be a gay icon. I mean, like
She is.
everyone's like it's Mayor Pete, but it's like no, it's Marianne Williamson.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna fucking just adorn me in crystals,
Oh.
put them on my bussy.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Put a diamond in my ass.
Diamonds in the crevice of your pussy.
What a nightmare that Disney star is. What's his name? Orlando
Yeah.
Orlando Brown.
Yeah,
that
that's the
dude. He
one.
made a gross, creepy video where he's talking about putting diamonds in your pussy.
Whose pussy did you want to put diamonds in?
Just a viewer.
No. It was who he was dating at the time. It was like an Ariana Grande.
Raven Simone.
That's what it was. You fucking got it. Yeah, exactly. He wanted to put diamonds
Well,
in
they were
Raven
on That's So
Simone's pussy.
Raven together.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And so I don't know if that video
It
was
was
directed towards
it. Was
it?
Yeah.
But he would like talk about their like sexual stuff on the set of That's So Raven, how they like fucked and he like ate her pussy or whatever on the set of That's So Raven.
Diamonds in the
She's
crevice of your
She's like having a
pussy.
vision and it's him eating her pussy.
God bless.
God
bless. All right, I think that's probably
That's it.
I gotta get my pulled pork out of the oven. We love you
so
all.
excited.
Thank
Love
you so
you.
much for listening.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for celebrating our 2nd anniversary.
Yeah. Look out for our lifestyle blog Instagram account. We will do that.
Yes. Yeah. And goodbye.
Goodbye.
The Fruit Basket.